Social comparison is the feeling of envy or inadequacy experienced while viewing others' social media posts. Social media often presents curated, idealized versions of reality. This can lead individuals to compare themselves unfavorably to others. These comparisons can trigger feelings of envy, low self-esteem, and dissatisfaction. Recognizing social comparison is the first step to mitigating its negative effects. Social comparison theory was introduced by Leon Festinger in 1954. The theory explains how individuals evaluate their own opinions and abilities. Humans inherently seek to assess themselves accurately. This evaluation is often achieved by comparing oneself to others. Social comparison serves as a primary means of self-assessment. Individuals determine their worth and standing relative to their peers. Humans naturally compare themselves to others as a fundamental aspect of self-understanding. This comparison extends to abilities, opinions, and values. By evaluating where we stand relative to others, we gain insights into our own strengths and weaknesses. This process of social comparison helps us define our self-concept and identity. In ancient societies, survival was heavily influenced by comparison among individuals. Individuals with superior strength or abilities generally had an advantage. This advantage translated into better access to essential resources. Stronger individuals also had greater opportunities for mating and reproduction. In modern society, individuals engage in social comparison on an unprecedented scale. The comparison group has expanded from a small tribe to millions of people. This vast increase in potential comparisons can be overwhelming. The sheer volume of comparisons presents challenges for self-evaluation and well-being. Social media platforms create an environment conducive to social comparison. Upward social comparison involves comparing oneself to individuals perceived as better off. This type of comparison can significantly impact self-esteem and well-being. The curated nature of social media often amplifies these feelings of inadequacy. Users are frequently exposed to idealized versions of others' lives. Upward comparison involves evaluating oneself against individuals perceived as superior. This process can lead to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Heightened anxiety levels are also a common consequence of upward comparison. In some cases, upward comparison can even trigger the sensation of physical pain. Brain scans reveal activation in pain centers during upward comparison scenarios. People often compare their own lives to the curated content they see on social media. This comparison often involves contrasting one's behind-the-scenes reality with others' highlight reels. Social media posts typically showcase the best aspects of a person's life. This can lead to unrealistic expectations and feelings of inadequacy. Downward comparison involves comparing oneself to those perceived as worse off. The thought process is often, "At least I'm not in their position." This comparison can temporarily elevate one's mood. However, it may also foster feelings of arrogance or superiority. Social comparison is a key factor in shaping individual identity. This process involves defining oneself by contrasting with others. It essentially establishes identity by clarifying who we are not. Subtle, everyday comparisons play a significant role in sculpting personalities. The digital age exposes individuals to a constant stream of curated content. This exposure often showcases idealized and seemingly perfect lives or achievements. Constant comparison to these curated images can trigger feelings of anxiety. This anxiety can further lead to self-doubt and a diminished sense of self-worth. External markers often used to measure worth include followers and likes. Internal values encompass self-acceptance and personal growth. Focusing solely on external validation can hinder inner peace. External markers are transient and subject to external influence. Internal values provide a stable foundation for self-worth. Cultivating internal values promotes lasting peace and contentment. Actively manage your social media inputs to foster a positive online experience. Identify accounts that consistently evoke feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt. Consider unfollowing or muting these accounts to reduce their impact on your mental well-being. Unfollowing is a direct method to remove content that negatively affects your self-perception. This curation process allows you to control the narratives and influences you are exposed to. Prioritize content that inspires, educates, and supports your personal growth and self-esteem. Practicing gratitude involves actively focusing on and appreciating the positive aspects of one's life. Gratitude can be cultivated through various methods, such as journaling or expressing thanks. The brain's capacity for experiencing envy and gratitude simultaneously is limited. By consciously fostering gratitude, one can reduce feelings of envy and increase overall well-being. Regularly acknowledging and appreciating positive experiences can lead to a more positive mindset. Visual progress charts are tools designed to track personal development over time. These charts emphasize the importance of celebrating progress, regardless of perfection. The The primary goal is to foster self-comparison against one's past self. This approach shifts focus from achieving an unattainable ideal to recognizing incremental improvements. By comparing against yesterday's self, individuals can better appreciate their growth. Reframing involves changing the way a situation is perceived. It's a technique to shift perspective and find new meaning. Instead of envy, view others' achievements as potential. Their success demonstrates what is achievable. This perspective turns their accomplishments into inspiration. It fosters a mindset of possibility and motivation. Reducing digital exposure involves intentionally decreasing the time spent online. Limiting online time reduces the opportunities for social comparison. Less time spent comparing oneself to others online can improve self-esteem. Reducing digital exposure can lead to a more realistic self-perception. Decreased online activity can free up time for offline activities and personal growth. Ultimately, limiting digital exposure can foster a healthier mindset and improved well-being. The art of enough is about finding contentment with what one has. It emphasizes satisfaction over constant striving for more. A key aspect is recognizing the futility of endless comparisons. The comparison game is unwinnable because there will always be someone with more. Focusing on personal values and gratitude fosters a sense of enough. Practicing enough leads to greater happiness and reduced stress. Life paths are diverse, each individual navigating unique circumstances. Unseen struggles and sacrifices often shape one's journey. Perspectives on life vary based on these experiences. Understanding diverse perspectives requires empathy. Acknowledging unseen challenges fosters compassion. Comparison serves distinct purposes in athletic and artistic domains. Athletes leverage comparison to identify benchmarks and surpass limitations. This competitive approach drives athletes to achieve higher levels of performance. Artists, conversely, employ comparison as a tool for enhancing their craft. By analyzing other works, artists refine their techniques and creative vision. Thus, comparison fosters competition in sports and cultivates refinement in art. The initial reaction to someone's success is often envy. Envy can be transformed into a powerful source of motivation. Instead of dwelling on personal shortcomings, focus on learning from others. Adopt the mindset, what can I learn from this person's success? Unchecked comparison with others can lead to burnout. This constant comparison can also trigger imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is the feeling of being a fraud despite evidence of success. Both burnout and imposter syndrome contribute to overall dissatisfaction. Managing comparison is crucial for mental well-being and preventing these negative outcomes. The treadmill effect describes a state of perpetually pursuing validation. This pursuit often feels like running on a treadmill. The target of validation continuously moves further away. The required effort increases faster than one's ability to keep up. This creates a cycle of constant striving without achieving lasting satisfaction. Success is often measured by external achievements. Societal standards can heavily influence perceptions of success. Authentic success aligns with personal values and goals. Redefining success involves introspection and self-awareness. Individuals should identify what truly matters to them. True success is achieved by living in accordance with one's values. Personal worth is often influenced by comparing oneself to others. This dependence on comparison can limit one's sense of freedom. Reclaiming freedom involves detaching self-worth from external comparisons. This shift allows one to move away from performing for others' approval. Authenticity emerges when the need for external validation diminishes. True living begins when one embraces their genuine self, free from societal expectations. The pressure of comparison often creates a sense of falling behind. However, each individual operates on a unique and personal timeline. Personal progress should be measured against individual goals, not external benchmarks. Contentment arises from recognizing and honoring one's own pace and journey. Many personal achievements go unnoticed by others. These unseen accomplishments often involve overcoming private challenges. Acknowledging these achievements fosters self-appreciation. Recognizing personal growth, even in small steps, is valuable. Take time to appreciate something you've achieved privately. Social media platforms often present curated and idealized versions of reality. Users tend to showcase their successes and positive experiences, omitting challenges. This selective presentation can create unrealistic expectations and social comparisons. Constant exposure to these curated images can lead to feelings of inadequacy. Individuals may perceive their own lives as less fulfilling or successful in comparison. Social comparison theory, introduced by Leon Festinger, explains how individuals evaluate their own opinions and abilities. This evaluation occurs by comparing oneself to others, especially when objective measures are unavailable. The theory posits that people have an innate drive to evaluate themselves accurately. Comparisons are typically made with individuals who are perceived as similar. These comparisons can lead to feelings of superiority or inferiority, influencing self-esteem and behavior. The human brain is highly sensitive to social comparison. Neural activity changes when individuals evaluate themselves relative to others. Brain scans reveal distinct patterns during upward and downward comparisons. Upward comparisons, to those perceived as better, can trigger activity in areas associated with envy or motivation. Downward comparisons, to those perceived as worse, may activate reward-related brain regions. Survival in ancient villages depended on a diverse set of skills. Hunting and gathering were crucial for acquiring food resources. Tool-making enabled the creation of essential implements for daily tasks. Shelter construction provided protection from the elements and predators. Fire starting was vital for warmth, cooking, and defense. Navigation skills were necessary for exploring and finding resources. Modern cities are characterized by high population densities. This density results in millions of people living in close proximity. Managing such large population presents unique challenges. Efficient infrastructure is crucial for supporting urban life. Urban planning aims to optimize resource allocation and living conditions. Upward social comparison involves comparing oneself to individuals perceived as superior. Instagram facilitates frequent upward social comparisons due to its curated content. Users often present idealized versions of themselves, highlighting successes and positive attributes. This can lead viewers to perceive others' lives as better than their own, fostering feelings of inadequacy. The constant exposure to seemingly perfect lives on Instagram may negatively impact self-esteem and well-being. Upward comparison involves evaluating oneself against individuals perceived as superior. This comparison can trigger feelings of inadequacy or pain. Brain scans may reveal neural correlates associated with this emotional response. These scans can help identify brain regions activated during upward comparison and the experience of pain. Individuals often compare their physical appearance to others. This comparison can occur both consciously and subconsciously. Social media platforms often amplify these comparisons. Such comparisons can impact self-esteem and body image. It's important to foster a positive self-perception independent of external standards. This scene depicts two individuals with contrasting personalities. One individual exhibits an outgoing and sociable demeanor. The other individual displays a quiet and reserved nature. These differences in personality can lead to diverse interactions and perspectives. Social media platforms often present users with curated and filtered content. This includes images and videos that showcase idealized versions of people's faces. It also extends to portrayals of lifestyles that may not accurately reflect reality. These filtered representations can create unrealistic expectations among viewers. Users may compare themselves to these idealized images and lifestyles. This comparison can lead to feelings of inadequacy or dissatisfaction. Self-worth is increasingly being measured by metrics on social media platforms. Follower counts and likes are used as indicators of popularity and validation. This external validation can heavily influence an individual's perception of their own value. Reliance on these metrics can lead to a distorted sense of self and decreased well-being. The process of curating inputs can be likened to tending a garden. Careful selection and preparation of inputs are similar to planting seeds. Nurturing and refining these inputs mirrors the cultivation of plants. The ultimate goal is to yield valuable outputs, akin to harvesting a bountiful crop. Gratitude journaling involves regularly writing down things one is thankful for. This practice encourages focusing on the positive aspects of life. It can help shift attention away from negative thoughts and feelings. Consistent journaling can cultivate a greater sense of appreciation and well-being. A progress chart is a visual tool used to monitor and evaluate personal development. It provides a structured way to track achievements, milestones, and areas for improvement. The chart typically includes specific goals or objectives set for a defined period. Regular updates on the chart reflect the progress made towards each goal. This visual representation helps maintain focus, motivation, and accountability in personal growth endeavors. Success can serve as a powerful catalyst for inspiration in others. Observing someone achieve their goals can ignite a desire for personal growth. Witnessing success provides tangible evidence that aspirations are attainable. The path to success, when shared, can offer valuable lessons and strategies. Inspiration derived from success can motivate individuals to pursue their own ambitions. Limiting digital exposure involves intentionally reducing the amount of time spent using digital devices. This includes smartphones, tablets, computers, and other screens. Reducing screen time can improve sleep quality and reduce eye strain. It can also enhance focus, productivity, and overall mental well-being. Strategies include setting time limits, designating tech-free zones, and finding alternative activities. Self-worth is the subjective sense of one's own value and importance. It is a personal judgment of the worthiness of oneself. Self-worth is often measured by internal standards and beliefs. External validation should not be the primary measure of self-worth. Cultivating self-acceptance is crucial for enhancing self-worth. Economic disparity refers to the unequal distribution of income and wealth among individuals or groups. This inequality manifests as significant differences in financial resources and opportunities. One segment of the population may possess substantial wealth, while another struggles with poverty. Such disparities can lead to social and economic stratification within a community. Factors contributing to economic disparity include differences in education, skills, and access to resources. Athletes often use comparison as a tool to motivate themselves. Comparing performance against others can highlight areas for improvement. This competitive drive can push athletes to train harder and smarter. Observing successful athletes provides benchmarks and strategies. Ultimately, comparison helps athletes identify and exceed their perceived limits. Artists refine their craft through continuous comparison. This involves comparing current work to past creations. Artists also compare their work to that of other artists. Comparison helps identify strengths and weaknesses. It provides insights into different techniques and styles. Ultimately, comparison drives improvement and innovation. Initial feelings of envy can trigger activity in brain regions associated with social comparison. This activity may involve the anterior cingulate cortex, linked to detecting social pain and unfairness. As the individual shifts towards motivation, prefrontal cortex activity increases. The prefrontal cortex is crucial for goal-directed behavior and planning. Increased activity in reward-related brain areas, like the striatum, may also occur. This shift reflects the brain's attempt to reframe envy into a stimulus for self-improvement and achievement. Unchecked comparison involves constantly measuring oneself against others. This process often focuses on perceived successes and strengths in others. It simultaneously emphasizes one's own perceived shortcomings and weaknesses. This behavior can erode self-worth by creating a distorted self-image. The constant comparison can lead to feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. Ultimately, it fosters a negative cycle that undermines personal confidence and happiness. The pursuit of validation often feels like an endless treadmill. Individuals may exert significant effort seeking external approval. This effort can be driven by a desire for recognition or acceptance. However, external validation is often fleeting and unsustainable. Focusing on internal values provides a more stable sense of self-worth. Individuals often face a dilemma between adhering to societal standards and upholding personal values. Societal standards represent the norms, expectations, and behaviors considered acceptable by a community. Personal values are deeply held beliefs and principles that guide an individual's decisions and actions. This conflict arises when societal expectations clash with an individual's moral compass. Choosing to align with society may lead to acceptance, but can compromise personal integrity. Prioritizing personal values may result in social disapproval, but maintains authenticity. The act of reclaiming freedom signifies a return to a state of autonomy and self-determination. It involves overcoming constraints, whether physical, mental, or societal. Reclaiming freedom often requires active effort and resistance against oppressive forces. It can represent a personal journey of liberation from internal limitations. Ultimately, reclaiming freedom is about asserting one's right to make choices and live authentically. Mirrors reflect light, allowing us to see images of objects. The reflection in a mirror shows a reversed image. This reversal is left to right, not top to bottom. The image appears to be behind the mirror's surface. Mirrors provide a full view of ourselves or surroundings. Understanding reflection helps in various applications, from personal grooming to scientific instruments. The scene depicts the concept of finish line in a metaphorical context. The statement, "there is no race," suggests a lack of competition. It implies the absence of a structured contest or rivalry. The scene might represent a situation where individual progress is independent and non-competitive. Social media feeds display a continuous stream of user-generated content. Users scroll through posts, images, videos, and other shared media. Algorithms personalize the feed based on user interactions and preferences. The feed provides a dynamic overview of information and social connections. Social comparison theory, introduced by Leon Festinger, explains how individuals evaluate their own opinions and abilities. People have an inherent drive to evaluate themselves, often by comparing themselves to others. This comparison is most often made with individuals who are perceived as similar. The theory suggests that social comparison can lead to both upward and downward comparisons, impacting self-esteem and motivation. Social comparison involves evaluating oneself by comparing to others. This process can significantly influence self-esteem and emotional states. Brain scans reveal specific neural circuits activated during social comparison. Regions associated with reward and self-evaluation show increased activity. Comparing favorably may activate reward pathways, boosting self-esteem. Unfavorable comparisons can trigger areas linked to negative emotions and self-doubt. Ancient villages required inhabitants to master specific skills for survival. Hunting and gathering were essential for securing food resources. Tool-making, using materials like stone and wood, was crucial for various tasks. Shelter construction provided protection from the elements and predators. Fire starting offered warmth, light, and a means to cook food. Knowledge of local plants and animals was vital for identifying resources and avoiding dangers. Modern cities are characterized by high population densities. This density concentrates millions of people within a relatively small area. Comparing population sizes helps illustrate the scale of urban concentration. Understanding urban population density is crucial for urban planning. High densities present both opportunities and challenges for city management. Upward social comparison involves comparing oneself to individuals perceived as superior. Instagram facilitates upward social comparison due to its curated content. Users often present idealized versions of themselves, leading to skewed perceptions. This can trigger feelings of inadequacy and lower self-esteem in viewers. Upward comparison involves evaluating oneself against individuals perceived as superior. This process can trigger feelings of inadequacy or pain. Brain scans reveal specific neural pathways activated during upward comparison. These pathways are often associated with negative emotions and self-assessment. The intensity of brain activity correlates with the degree of perceived difference and resulting emotional response. Individuals often compare their appearance to others. This comparison can occur both consciously and unconsciously. Mirrors can serve as a trigger for appearance-based social comparison. Social media and advertising frequently exacerbate these comparisons. Such comparisons can impact self-esteem and body image. The scene features two individuals with distinct personality traits. One person exhibits an outgoing and sociable demeanor. In contrast, the other person is characterized by a quiet and reserved nature. This juxtaposition highlights the diversity in human interaction and behavior. Social media often presents a curated view of reality. Users frequently employ filters to alter their appearance. Lifestyles are often idealized and may not reflect everyday experiences. This can lead to skewed perceptions and comparisons. Self-worth is increasingly measured by metrics on social media platforms. Follower counts and likes are often used as indicators of popularity and value. This external validation can significantly impact an individual's self-esteem. Reliance on social media metrics can lead to a distorted sense of self. The process of curating inputs can be likened to tending a garden. In a garden, careful selection of seeds or seedlings is essential for a successful harvest. Similarly, curating inputs involves choosing the most relevant and valuable information. Just as a gardener weeds and nurtures plants, inputs must be refined and processed. This careful cultivation ensures the final output is of the highest quality and relevance. Gratitude journaling involves actively writing down specific things one is thankful for. This practice encourages a focus on the positive aspects of life. Regular journaling can enhance feelings of happiness and well-being. It serves as a tool for cultivating a more grateful mindset. A progress chart is a tool used to monitor and visualize personal development. It provides a structured way to track achievements and identify areas for improvement. The chart typically includes specific goals or milestones set for a defined period. Regular updates on the chart reflect progress towards these goals. Visual representations, such as graphs or checklists, enhance clarity and motivation. Consistent tracking using a progress chart can lead to increased self-awareness and better outcomes. The scene depicts two individuals, one embodying success and the other experiencing inspiration. Success can serve as a powerful catalyst for inspiring others. Observing achievement can ignite motivation and drive in those who witness it. This interaction highlights the potential for positive influence and personal growth. Establish specific times for digital device usage. Designate tech-free zones in the home, such as bedrooms. Set daily limits on screen time to promote balance. Use app features or parental controls to monitor and restrict usage. Encourage alternative activities like reading or outdoor play. Model healthy digital habits to set a positive example. Self-worth is the subjective sense of one's own value and importance. It is how much one appreciates, values, and likes oneself. Self-worth is often linked to factors such as achievements and external validation. However, true self-worth should be based on internal acceptance rather than external measures. Cultivating self-compassion and recognizing inherent value are key to healthy self-worth. Economic disparity refers to the unequal distribution of income and wealth among individuals or groups. This disparity can be observed between different segments of a population. One segment may have substantial financial resources, while another segment struggles with limited access to basic needs. The gap between the rich and the poor illustrates a fundamental aspect of economic inequality. Athletes often use comparison as a motivational tool. Comparing themselves to others can drive athletes to push their limits. This competitive mindset fosters continuous improvement and higher performance. By observing and emulating successful athletes, individuals can identify areas for growth. Artistic skill is honed through continuous refinement and learning. Comparison is a valuable tool for identifying areas of strength and weakness. Artists can compare their work to that of masters to understand technique. Analyzing differences reveals opportunities for improvement in one's own craft. This process of comparison and adjustment is key to artistic growth. Envy can trigger activity in brain regions associated with social pain and frustration. This initial response often involves feelings of inferiority and resentment towards the envied person. However, the brain can also reframe envy into a source of motivation for self-improvement. This shift activates reward-related brain areas, linking effort with potential gains. The brain's plasticity allows for transforming negative emotions into positive drivers for achievement.